Dr. Frank Sommers is a child survivor of the Holocaust and former refugee whose early experiences compelled him to become a physician. He is also a founding executive board member of Doctors Against Racism and Antisemitism, where he leads the Holocaust Education, a Medical Imperative project. Here, he tells his story.
The Holocaust had a profound effect on my whole life, and including my choice of career. Having been born at a very unfortunate, tragic time in 1943 in a country which was occupied by the retreating German army in 1943, our family were able to only survive based on not reporting to the ghettos, but to go into hiding in the dark, dingy basements of bomb-damaged buildings. During that time, as many people know and should know, close to 500,000 Jewish persons in Hungary were deported. That included most of my extended family, and of course killed. I have a profound impact on my life as a result of that, and having survived, and that has been a core, basic guiding principle in all my choices, and it is to this day. Well, I set out to try to decide on a career which would contribute to healing and to health, and my interest in science coupled to that led me into the path of medicine, first of all. My colleagues in DARA, Doctors Against Racism and Antisemitism, an organization which we set up about 12 years ago, based out of Toronto, Canada, but has international membership. We are committed to rectify the reality that in most medical education, Holocaust is never mentioned. In particular, we are very concerned with remembering the contribution of fascist doctors in Germany and scientists who from a fairly early stage onwards helped with their knowledge, betraying their Hippocratic oath, to carry out some of the most odious, murderous policies of the Nazi Hitlerite regime. This is an unprecedented event in the history of medicine, and we feel it's quite important that young doctors in training should be knowledgeable about what happened, be aware of the temptation of power, of the loss of moral compass, and in particular to equip them better for dealing with some of the very challenging issues that are coming up in medical care during their careers when they get into practice. The issue we're dealing with in this program is very personal to me. Most of us are getting on in years, and most of us who have any direct connection to the Holocaust are dwindling in numbers. I strongly would encourage all colleagues in all parts of medicine to carry forward the dedication, the knowledge, the motivation that we now have exhibited in forwarding the reality of the history of one of the most shameful, tragic periods in the history of medicine, and never allow this to ever happen again, to learn the lessons of that, and to renew the knowledge that we have, and to renew our commitment to the oath that we have taken, and to speak truth to power, to remain ethical in our practices, and to practice empathy, and hopefully do some justice to all those innocent victims, men, women, children, who had no choice over their fate. That's the least we can do. That is, in my experience, a major lesson in my life of having survived the Holocaust.